My goodness, we have got an awesome crowd on today. If you have not texted people, if you haven't called people, if you haven't emailed people, private messaged people, get them on this session today. If there has ever been a time that we've got to bring financial hope to people, it is now. And I just am so thrilled that you guys are here with us today. I'm Quenna. I'm from Arkansas, but I'm telling you, look at the pictures of the people that are going to be on here with us today. It is amazing. So we've got a couple of people from Canada, somebody from the UK, Florida. I'm in Arkansas. And the beautiful thing about technology right now is that we can all come together. I have never in my life seen so many different things and sessions and stuff on Zoom. Is it not wonderful that we can be together? Listen, I want to welcome everybody. I know that we've got a variety of people here. We have guests, we've got brand new affiliates, we have affiliates that are kind of waking up to, coming back to Carrot Bars to say, I need to learn more about what's going on. Then we've got people that are die-hard like me, that understand the solution, that has been here for years and years. And everybody that we have today that is going to be on our panel, you are familiar. If you guys are plugged in at all, you're familiar with every single person that's here, because I'm telling you, they lead from the front, they walk the walk. And, I do want to make sure that everybody understands. First of all, if you're a guest today, I want you to sit back and relax. So I want everybody to sit back and relax. We get together every week for coffee and or drink of choice, because with people all over the world that plug in, it may not be the morning time. It's all different time zones. So, but for our guests today, I want you to understand that the information that we talk about, there's going to be very basic information, but there's also going to be some detail of some of our projects that we're going into. And I just want you to understand, and I want to say on the forefront while I'm thinking about it, that number one, we're not financial planners. Okay. And so the experience or the things that we talk about are things that we personally have experienced. But we're not advising you on what to do. We're just going to give you the information. You can make up your mind on how you want to get involved. There are several different ways that you can get involved with our company. But what the main thing that I want you to understand is that never before has there been a time that we are finding out that we cannot depend on our government. We have to be self-sufficient where we take care of our families. We take care of our own personal economies. Many people don't know how to do that. So we want to bring you that, how we've done it. And very, very excited about that. At the same time, we don't want to make light of what all is going on with the coronavirus. We've got people that are separated, people that are in the hospital, their families cannot get to them, children that are in the hospital that are, families cannot get to them. We've got even our own leaders within my organization, David Ferguson, Eva Ferguson. She was traveling. She's stuck in Colorado. She cannot travel home. David is here in Arkansas by himself. So we've got couples and families, they're separated. And, this has brought a whole new level of awareness. At the same time, it's not all the virus people. This is something that is directly affecting our economy. And Dr. Gerrie is going to be bringing that to us today. And I don't want to make light of that. But at the same time, I don't want to focus on that. And let's focus on the solution and the opportunity that we have. And this opportunity, I'm a business owner. I still am a business owner, but there's several here that are ex-business owners that are full-time in this company. Carrot Bars has changed our life. We have never saved like we're saving now. And it has been just a beautiful ride. I've been involved since 2014, and you're going to find there is stability there. And just because this is something brand new that you're learning, understand that there's a whole world of knowledge out there that you don't know yet, that I don't know yet. And so much of our opportunities, so many solutions happen outside the realm of our thinking. And so we're excited about that today, and we're excited about bringing you that information today. We're definitely in some crazy times, but this week, and first of all, I want you guys to know all of these panelists here are the top level positions in Carrot Bars. We have grabbed a hold of the mission of this company, of Mr. Seitz. We want to hold his arms up. We want to support him. We want to we're in 140 countries, everyone. You know, we want to make sure that we are there to support him as we navigate through this world. And we are just 150% all in. Okay, all in. And I want you to understand that it's very, very exciting. But there again, not financial planners. We may talk about some income today because there is a wonderful opportunity for an additional income stream. There may be some of that talk today, but I want you to know never is the income guaranteed. It's all a matter of, you know, how much you're going to put into it. We all run a different race, and different contacts, different strategies and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, it has totally changed my life, and it's changed these guys' lives as well, and their families. And so first of all, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let's see if I can do this. Stop share. And want to make sure, I'm going to turn on my chat just real quick. I want to make sure, are you guys, can you hear me? Am I going in and out? Am I loud and clear? Can you just type a yes in the chat, please? Perfect. Awesome. Okay, good deal. All right, so what we're going to do, how are we doing? On time. Good, 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 on time. I want to introduce my co-host today. You guys, so many of you will know him. We are actually not in the same organization or same team, you know, and that's the beautiful thing that we have today, is that several of us, we do not gain from each other financially. And that has been the biggest strength and the biggest most wonderful surprise, is that I have gotten some of my closest friends just from being in Carrot Bars. We're like-minded, we're all learning together, and I found some beautiful people. But we've got a guy with us, so many of you know him, Alfie Pino. And y'all, I am just thrilled that he's going to be helping me co-host today. I had the privilege and the honor to be with him this week. And Alfie, can you go ahead and turn there you are.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, Quenna?
Oh, doing good, doing good. So you're sitting there in Florida, right?
I'm here in Florida.
Yep. Well, Alfie is a Go Director Elite 3, whichever, but I don't have to say the keep telling what our ranks are, because every one of us are Go Director Elite 3s, and all that means to me is that we're 150% in. We are sharing this with as many people as we can, impacting this world with this amazing financial solution that we've got. But listen, you had a session this week that I absolutely loved, and it was where you brought these same panelists on, and it was so dynamic. And you know, I think as we're navigating this whole world of what we've got going on, I think it's awesome to hear the different viewpoints, you know?
Right. And you know what, Quenna, I'm glad. First of all, let's stop for a second, everybody. Yeah. Let's just thank Quenna for her countless leadership. Doing this call every Saturday, day in, day out, that is definitely an example of leading from the front. And I'm just so humbled to be here today, very much sharing this opportunity and co-hosting with you, because it's going to be a very good time. So, you know what I want to do, Quenna, as your co-host? Let's check the activity in the chat. How many people in the chat right now are excited to hear from everybody on the panel today? Let me see let's see that chat start going. Yes, 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 yes. Make sure everybody knows that we do have a lineup here that you're going to be very excited about. So if you haven't seen, let's see chat. Look at that, Quenna, just flying off the chart with the yeses. So, and you know, and it gets to thinking when you were saying about what I was doing for those webinars that I was doing. It was more of a chance to get the people engaged with the leaders to have open discussions. And I think that sometimes is missed because we do the presentations, we give the information, but there might be some underlying questions that people might have that we haven't addressed. So I thought to keep open forums like we're doing, and it was very successful. And God, the guys that we had on the panel and yourself was just answering question after question after question, and it flowed really nicely. So let's hope we can do that for everybody today. Let's keep the excitement and the energy up. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our best to answer your questions throughout the day. And the panelists are too. So bear with us. We're going to take you through a great Saturday morning.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. You know, as far as you, Alfie, you know, you came into Carrot Bars in 2014. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yeah.
And then now you actually had a couple of franchises. You were a business owner, a couple of franchises,
Yeah.
Fitness.
Yes.
Is that what it was? But you recently, that I think you said former business owner, right?
Yes.
To where now you are full-time in Carrot Bars, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And you lived in Canada, and now you've moved to Florida, Sarasota?
Yes, changing my lifestyle, wake up call, just been energetic, helping people all over the world get out of the system of debt that we're going to talk about today. And it's been rewarding. I mean, you know, as well, we've been to amazing places this year, throughout the year. We've got a great opportunity now, and not to take advantage of the virus, like you said, but, you know, to really connect with people because they're at home. And there might be people looking for a solution. Their jobs might be in jeopardy, or they're just looking for that extra $100, $200, $500,000 a month. And we bring a solution for that. And if they're willing to listen, we're going to give them the answers. And I think that's probably a lot of what we're going to do today.
Yeah. So, you know, one of the things that I absolutely love, you know, you'll hear people griping about the economy, griping about the government, griping about, you know, seemingly not getting ahead and all of that. And what I think that Carrot Bars for me brings to the table, and the biggest thing that stands out to me, is that we don't have to gripe about it. I mean, we do not have to we can protect ourselves from what's going on, and we can save our personal economy. In other words, you know, in the US or any country, the currency is no longer backed by gold, but we can put our income back on the gold standard, and we can be self-sufficient in that way because of Carrot Bars.
Right, and taking it to step, no, those are great points. I've got an example ready for you here. This is an example of the euro. We've been there, we've been to Germany, we've used the euro quite often. Mm-hmm. We went to Dubai. Do you remember the trip to Dubai? This is the dirham. I kept all this dirham. The South African rand, when we were in South Africa. The Jamaican dollar. Then we have the US dollar. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think all of these have in common? They're all paper. Everything I'm showing you is paper. It does not cost the government any more to print a $5 bill than it does a $20 bill. This is all perceived by the exception of this currency that we use, and it's not even real. Everything that we have, ladies and gentlemen, can be easily converted from this declining paper dollar to gold. And that's the simple, easiest way to explain Carrot Bars move. All we do is exchange declining paper money into an appreciating asset that's been around for 2,000 years.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, Sean Moloney.
Hey guys, my apologies, slightly late to the party. Hope you're well.
No, that's totally cool. We're gonna go over, just quickly review Carrot Bars, you know, wave 1, 2, and 3, Alfie. So let's do that. You know, just real quick before we dive in to the economy, and then, you know, some Q&A that we've got with the panelists and everything. It's been a huge thing. So like wave 1, you know, we launched in 2011. Yep. Have you ever met Harold Seitz, the founder? And
Harold, I've met several times. I've actually done an interview with him and with Joseph Haidt, which was very exciting. I was very nervous, but it was really good. And the heart on our CEO, and Harold is our CEO, the heart on this gentleman, you can't even explain it if you tried. It's the greatest thing. He is really trying to get the masses to understand that they can start saving in a appreciating asset, even in small denominations. And that's what the key was, is that was our first kind of stage, right? Round one, wave one, if you want to call it, was getting from declining currency. And that was the creation of the gold. And in our cash gold, Quenna, our cash gold was also created. This is small denominations, 0.1 gram in small denominations, affordable to the masses. And that's what his whole vision was.
Yes. And then, so from 2011 to 2018, you know, really was wave one. Then we go into wave two. Now, wave two, we entered into the digital crypto market, but bringing it, you know, with gold. There we go. So we've got, you know, wave two that happened. Now, in wave one, it's amazing to me because what took us 7 years to bring in as far as revenue, you know, we did that same revenue when we went into this digital arena, right, and in the crypto space and all of that. We did that in about 5 months, 5 or 6 months. We did the same volume that it took our company to do in 7 years. And
you know what? It would, and that's attest to some of the panelists that we're going to have. The velocity changed, right? We went into understanding that it's physical into a digital realm, right? Where I could take my Carrot Pay application. For your new people, we have an application called Carrot Pay where I can send Quenna right now 1 gram of gold to her Carrot Pay wallet. She can accept this gram of gold, have it delivered, or use it in our system.
Yeah.
And that was the digital. Then we took it one step further, and we looked at getting into the cryptocurrency realm.
Yeah.
Which was big at the time, right? Bitcoin was started, alternate coins started coming out. Yes. And then what we did was we have the only crypto that is backed by an integrated payment system.
Yes.
And it's all based on gold.
Exactly.
So that's where the digital, so the wave one we got out of, we kind of moved with the times and we got into wave two. And that's what's happened. And that attracted so many people into Carrot Bars that we are addressing it now, and many more people are coming on board as a fact from that shift.
Oh yeah, major explosion. And we've got now developed a whole ecosystem. In fact, there are companies that are saying what Carrot Bars has done in that amount of time, just in 2 years. It is astounding. Like, it's almost unheard of. But yet we have a CEO and the founder of the company, Mr. Harold Seitz, that understands, and he knew this growth had to be accelerated. And it's so wild because now we are developed, and it's right here at such a time as this. So also in wave two is the development of the devices where we can have privacy and security. Okay. And so we're going to, you know, kind of talk about that as well. Now, for all the guests, also the affiliates that maybe you are, maybe you're involved, but even for the guests, I want you guys to know, and I'm fixing to introduce the panelists here, but I want you guys to know that we're looking for people to expand with us. We are on a major expansion. There has never been a time in our company where people can really set themselves up very, very well. And so it really, first of all, thank you so much for being with us today. But at the same time, I want you guys to know that this is a beautiful time for you to set yourselves up for a financial legacy like nobody's business. So the first person that I'm going to introduce, and I'm going to do all 3 additional ones besides, you want to say something else?
Before you introduce everybody, Quenna, just for everybody that's watching, I highly recommend, and this is even for us as panelists, I highly recommend grabbing a paper and a pencil right now, because you are definitely going to want to take notes. This is one thing as a leader that I know, and I know everybody on this panel that you're about to hear from, They learn every single time, whether they think they know what they're saying, they're listening to others say it, and that might be integratable into their own businesses. This is something they might see throughout their genealogy that someone might have, that might give an answer to someone that's has that question. So please, everybody, take a pen and paper. We'll give you a minute here or so, but take notes because this is where you're really going to learn. Off to you, Quenna.
All right, awesome. So we've got Dr. Greg Gerrie with us from Canada. He's known as the people's economist, helping people to understand, and he simplifies economics for people to help them. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. He's the author of the book, Fired Up for Life. I met Greg in Stuttgart back in 2015. And well, actually I met him
Vegas.
in 2014. Yeah, it was in Vegas, 2014. And we both were fairly new. And, you know, just I've learned so much from Greg. And I know you guys have too. He was with me last week and just did a phenomenal job. You guys want to catch the recording of that. We've got Sean Moloney from the UK. And so many of us know him. We also learn from him, digital business masters and strategies and wonderful family that he's got there. But it's awesome how we can all connect with each other. But I learned so much from you, Sean, and people value what you say because that understanding and the way that you deliver it is amazing. So I want to welcome you today. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And then Brian Cromley, my goodness, we know him as the Golden Rock Star. He's actually my upline, and I'll never forget. I don't know if you still have my email, but whenever I was coming in May of 2014, I just remember sending you and Joby like a whole list of questions.
A book.
Because listen, let me tell you something. All you guests that you may be skeptical, there was nobody more skeptical than this one. And I definitely didn't want to refer people and get something else on my plate. I was so busy already. But this guy right here, he is a Rolex qualifier, Mercedes qualifier, is a major, major network marketer. And listen, I am so thrilled to have everybody on today. It's amazing to me that that I'm in this place, to be honest with you. I'm sitting here kind of pinching myself.
Welcome everybody. Good to see all you guys. Good to see everybody. Let's do a great show for everybody this morning.
Awesome. Welcome everybody from all over the world. And then welcome to all
everybody.
all the awesome panelists.
Yes, absolutely. So Greg, I want to start with you. Okay. I think that you've got some slides for us, but just talking about the economy, where we are, you know, right now, you know, how, and all of us are understanding this, but, you know, people are responding in certain ways because of what we've got, you know, going on. There's major, not only the health concerns, but the financial devastation. I mean, we're seeing this multiple times. And so I know that you're going to share your screen. Let's go into a little bit of the economy. Let's set the stage, and then we'll come back and talk about, you know, what Carrot Bars is doing as a solution. You guys want to listen to this for sure.
100%. And Quenna, you know, and Alfie, I just want to say that everybody, this is such a time of leadership. And, you know, in 20 short minutes, you guys have said some really important things. I just want to repeat them. I wrote them down, right? And and Alfie, great advice, right? Quenna, so far, you and Alfie have said, focus on a solution. We're in community right now, right? Connect with people. I added, your attitude determines your altitude. It really does in a time like this. So, and when you said we're in a major expansion, I wrote that down. That's right. It's great to be reminded of all these things. So thank you for your leadership. And someone on the pre-call today said, yeah, I'm focusing on my team in Vietnam. It just reminds me, listen, we have over 120 nations for this. I mean, we're in an amazing time. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here and crank up this little PowerPoint I've created here. Oh no, I didn't want it to go there. Hang on, everybody, just hang on. There we go. Now, you can agree or not agree in the chat line, okay? So comment in the chat line, and then the panelists are going to be commenting as I talk about this on the way through. Look, it's a terrible storm, but it's a perfect storm. And we really, really, really are in the right place at the right time. And we really can help ourselves even as we help others. And it is such a beautiful, perfect storm, okay? So now, when I was in the military, we had something called a situation report. You know, you'd be out on exercise, you'd have to come back. Hey, Sean, where's that military from on the top panel there? Do you notice that? That's a British salute, right? They always go like this. Americans go like this. Canadians go like this. Anyways, so I just want to give you a little quick situation report. Now, I know everybody on the call today knows what's going on, but when you contextualize things, and I'll show you in a minute why this is the perfect storm, okay? So look at the amount of Americans filing for unemployment, you know, and do you think that's going to grow? Same in Canada, right? It's serious. I mean, 2 of my buddies had to shut down their restaurants this week. I'm actually helping one of them move their furniture out. That's serious, man. It's crazy. And then of course, now here come the bailouts and the help coming in various different forms with different packages from the government. That too is happening. And a question to everybody, and I want you to answer this in the chat. Now look, Quenna, you said focus on the solution, but let's just talk about the problem here for just a tad, okay? Let's get everybody's participation here. Everybody, do you think it will get worse? So you can say no, you can say maybe, or you can say yes. Let's see. And I don't have the chat box open here, Quenna. Can I open the chat box?
I'm just going to tell you, Greg, yes,
Tell me,
yes,
yeah.
across the board, buddy. All yeses across the board.
All yeses. Okay. So we're not doom and gloomers, but look, it's a serious time, right? It's a really serious time. So yeah, okay. So we're all on the same page. We do think it's going to get worse. All right. So let's look at history's reaction to economic crisis. Now, economic crisis comes for different reasons. Some say, well, this crisis because of the coronavirus. No, it's not. The coronavirus was the black swan. The coronavirus was the tipping point. The banking and currency system globally was bankrupt before the coronavirus hit. Now, again, how many of you agree with that? I mean, the repo injections started last September, way before the virus. So those of you who don't know what repo is, that's the American government injecting billions of dollars into the economy to keep it going. Okay, so that started in September of last year. So what happened in Germany? I mean, the printing presses were running out of control, right? The paper mills were running, supplying paper, so they just kept printing more and more and more money. Now, we showed that slide last week, okay? Now, same thing happened in, anybody? Zimbabwe, modern nation where their dollar was on par with the US dollar. That was decades ago now. And then we've got Venezuela. And we're always dealing with this thing called normalcy bias. Well, guess what, folks? No more normalcy bias. It has arrived. We are now in the midst of an economic crisis. But as you know, the Chinese expression for crisis also means, anybody know? You said it earlier, means opportunity. Same set of words, okay? Now, I put this slide in the wrong place, but we're going to be talking about trillions of dollars. And, you know, it's hard. Thank you, Brian Cromley, for this slide. You know, it's hard to imagine what $1 trillion is. Can you get just focus on this for a minute? Okay, there you can see 10,000, right? And there's a million stacked up, still, you know, below your knees. Now we're at 100 million. There's $1 billion, and now we're talking. Look at the perspective. Can you imagine that? Look at that guy standing beside 1 billion, and then look at the number of rows for $1 trillion. It is unfathomable what $1 trillion is. Okay, so what's going on today? Folks, you know, you see these graphs, you see these charts, you hear them saying it in the news, but look at this. Look at this. When the Fed, $622 billion in treasury and mortgage-backed securities, 2.9% of the GDP in 5 days. What's the GDP? Gross domestic product, total value of goods and services produced in a nation, GDP. They produced 3% of the GDP in cash and digital bailouts in 5 days. Can you let that sink in? Just let it sink in. What are some of the comments on that?
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, I
is.
mean, it's nuts.
It's nuts. It's surreal. How many of you, when you know, I went to the bank the other day and I'm looking at people and it's like, it's kind of a surreal time in history. You know, it's like, is this really happening? Well,
Many are lost.
I tell you, everybody, you're on this call for a reason today. And the hope of the panelists here is that it really strikes your heart, not in fear, but in realization.
Great. It goes along, if you don't mind me interjecting.
Go anytime, Alfie.
It goes along, okay, with the whole magician mentality, okay? This is exactly what happens. And when we talk about this, okay, when we go into a bank, the very first thing is, how can I help you with your mortgage? How can I help you get a line of credit? How can I help you get a MasterCard? How can I help you pay for your wedding? And the magician is very sneaky, because behind the scenes, the actual bank, what they're really doing is hoarding gold. And that's exactly why this is, you know, very, very prevalent today, what you're saying, because they are showing us that's easy to print, but gold is where the real asset is.
Hey, Alfie, that's a great reminder. You know, do you know that the central banking system, the very people that are printing, like the Federal Reserve, the owners of all this, the masterminds of all this, they have collected more gold in the last year than they have in all the previous years starting in 1971. Can you get that?
That's a major clue, Greg, for all of us. We need to save and build our gold reserve also.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. So how about that? I mean, if you just saw this one graph today, that would be enough, right? And of course, we had the historic 2.2 trillion. They signed it, right? Same in Canada, same deal. But I heard, now I haven't updated the slide because I just did this last night, but I heard someone on the pre-call this morning say 6 trillion. You've heard 6 trillion bailout?
Correct.
So going back to your slide, Greg, you're showing just the slide with all the rows of money. You just showed 1 trillion. That was 1 trillion of printed. You have to show 6 of them.
Here's the thing though, right? It can be digital now. They can just press buttons, right? Crazy time, everybody. So there's auto up in Canada. Hey, by the way, I noticed people from Sweden and the UK and all over the world. So my apologies that I didn't have examples from your nation, but we just chose 2 nations, but you get the idea, right? All right, well, can we talk gold here, everybody? We showed this slide last week in the time of hyperinflation in Germany. And we're just going to show you that history is repeating itself. That's how these cycle analysts can predict so accurately what's going on. So 100 marks up to 1,000 to 2,000 marks for an ounce of gold. Okay, we saw that last week, right? And we always run the danger. Oh yeah, that was back then, right? Well, let's study gold in crises. Let's talk about the power of gold. Now look at this, everybody. Okay, 1976, the S&P dropped 20%. Okay, what did gold do? 53. Now in 1980, something wonky happened there, but let's look at 87. Negative 33%, 6.2%. Do you see the gap there? The gold gap? Negative 20% on the S&P, 6.8% rise in gold. 2000, negative 50%, 12%, negative 56, 25, negative 19. Now, are you getting the pattern here? And thank you, Mike Moloney, for this chart. the pattern is that in crisis, gold typically, well, not typically, it just does well, right? And then here's how gold has done. And by the way, we have different charts for different nations. It goes up even more in some nations, but 24% increase in the last year. Come on. If you'd bought gold like we told you a year ago and the previous year and the previous year, if you'd been saving your gold, Quenna, like you said you do, you wouldn't, your assets would not be in the shape that they're in right now. Okay. Now, some people say, well, what if we don't get a crash? Well, look, here's what happened in 1970. Look at this curve. Okay. So the market stayed fairly flat, but look at gold. Gold went from $35 to over $800. Okay, so when we say to people, yeah, gold's going to go to 5K, 5,000 and 10,000, people go, oh no, that could never happen. Okay, let's do another survey. Everybody in the panel, do you think gold will go to 5,000 and above?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
What do the panelists say?
Without a doubt.
I mean, and what does the chat line say?
Yes. There's a common answer right there. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really smart, educated people on these calls now. Hey, remember when we started at the beginning, Sean? And we'd ask these questions to the audience. Hey, do you know that the Federal Reserve is really a private banking cartel? And do you know this? And do you know? They'd all go no. And now it's different, isn't it?
There was a lot of it'll never happen here as well.
A lot of normalcy bias. Yeah.
And it's the sky's not falling in, Greg, as you know, but it is a case of education, and applied education is powerful.
Beautiful.
And all we're trying to do here is lay the scene with education and then provide a vehicle to provide applied education. So take it as it's meant, guys. It's all designed to give you a way through this.
And ladies and gentlemen, brand new people, we're not trying to be doom and gloom. We're just giving you facts and reality. Everything that Dr. Greg is sharing with you, this is historic times, and history always, always, always repeats itself. But we have a system and a solution that can help you in times of crisis to be, most importantly, number one thing, prepare for you and your family. Yeah. Back over to you, Greg.
Beautiful. Well, look at the, let's look at this slide here for a minute. I mean, it's such a perfect picture here. So the hurricanes come through, right? The front wave, and you guys in Florida, you know about hurricanes, right? They can be devastating. So there's some of the devastation, but in the eye of the storm, I've never been in the eye of a hurricane. Brian, what's it like?
It is very calm, very quiet. There's always the calm before the storm.
Okay. So here's our great opportunity in the midst of challenging times. Hey, I'm rebalancing my paychecks and having to do some strategic things financially right now too. Hey, I'm in it with all y'all, right? It's a tough time. But here in this webinar today, just sit in the eye of the storm and understand that you can actually remain calm, because I love that term you used, Sean, applied education. Your great opportunity is here. So let's look at why this is the perfect storm. So first, here's the summary of what's going on. We have unemployment or hours cut. People are at home. A lot of people are at home or working from home, okay? People need cash flow. Agree or disagree in the chat line. Right? Cash flow. You don't have cash flow in your business, it dies. You don't have cash flow in your life, there's trouble, right?
Yes,
unless you've got a lot of gold stored.
There's yes across the board.
Yeah, okay, good. And then people just took this 30% hit. Now, the markets jumped again on Thursday, Friday. Well, that was because of the massive amount of money that was injected. But how long do you think that market blip is gonna last, right? Yeah, that's right, Brian. It's gonna crash again. So people need to recover those losses. You think about it, everybody. People saved for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And in under a month, they lost 30% of their wealth, and there's more to come. That's crushing. You know, when you're getting ready to retire, that is crushing. Okay, listen to this. You guys, I went to my gold shop last week. I do other things in gold and silver. And I go in, I go, how much silver do you have? He goes, we don't have any. I mean, you read about these things, you hear about these things in the news, but I live in a little city called Richmond. There's only 300,000 of us. And no, what about gold? How long will it take to get? You have to put a down payment on, and maybe in 2 months. Folks, it's here. It's hard to get gold. And this is exactly what was predicted by the experts around the world. There will be a run on gold, and you won't be able to get it. The big guys, the institutional investors and central banks, they will have eaten it up first. And then, you know, the average citizen can't get it. Okay. So, and then look what's happened. We're now a people that's saying, government, we need your handouts. And people are so happy to accept them. And I'm not disparaging that. You know, you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it in a time of crisis. So, okay, governments are helping, right? But what's that going to do to the government books? So this is going to be short term too. Okay. Have I made everybody sick enough? Sorry. Okay.
I think they're giving us all great clues on what's happening.
Absolutely. Okay. Yep.
Terrific. Now, Quenna, you started off this whole thing today. You said, let's focus on solution. All right. So let's look at the storm, and we got really smart panelists here. You can chime in anytime, right? So unemployment or hours cut. People are at home. There's your answer.
Love it. Social distancing with cash flow. That's awesome.
That's the new term, right?
Yeah.
What's like basically it's stay at home. So Greg Sukorov and I were talking last night. He goes, yeah, social distancing with cash flow. Stay home and start your carrot bars business, or stay home and amp it up.
And even
business go 10x, 100x.
And for those of your guests, you can just stay home and accumulate and build your net worth by building your store value and saving physical gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're in the eye of the storm today on this webinar, or if you're watching this recording, just take a deep breath and know that you have this huge, huge opportunity. I mean, Brian Cromley's got guys he's talking to in Vietnam. One of my team members is raising up a team in Pakistan. Are you kidding? There's somebody from Sweden on the call today. There's South Africa. There's on it goes, you know, and you don't know who in your sphere of influence, who they know. Don't try to control this thing. Just get out and be generous and share this thing. You know, Alfie, I love the simplicity that you bring to this, where, you know, you hold up paper notes from every nation and you say, hey, we're just converting this stuff into gold. That's what we're doing, right?
You know, it's all great points, Greg. And I want everybody to take because you spoke about the experts, and I'm listening to you 100%. And we're all in these isolationships, if you want to call them.
Yeah.
In these isolationships, it's the proper thing to learn. And to do that, you want to listen to people like write down Mike Moloney, Secrets of Money.
Quenna, is it Alfie or me?
Alfie, hang on just a second, because you're cutting in and out like we can't understand anything that you're saying. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't know if it was just me or.
No, same here.
I heard it breaking up also.
Alfie's frozen, but what he's basically saying, guys, is he's used the opportunity to keep things simple. There's a very effective video series by a gentleman called Mike Moloney called Hidden Secrets of Money.
Yeah.
And you should go back to that if you've seen it already. If you've not seen that already, please watch it while you're in the eye of this storm, which is a very effective way Greg is using to explain what we are presenting to you. It's a calmness, and it's able, in that calmness, you're able to prepare. Okay, so the Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Moloney, I think, is where Alfie was taking his point.
that's a free video series. So it's a perfect time right now to go and watch those episodes. It is amazing, amazing education.
I posted the link in the chat so everybody can hear the hidden secrets of money.
Good job.
Perfect.
Hey, Sean, I think that's a really super reminder because, you know, Mike Moloney and others have been pleading, and it's free. And each of those, you know, each of those 30-minute sections cost $100,000 to produce. And he has put it out onto the internet for free. Okay, yeah, he's got a gold and silver business, sure, but it's all free. And he's been imploring people, please get educated. And then, Sean, I love at the introduction to that series where he says, da, 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 and this can be your great opportunity. The greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world can be your opportunity.
We're in it right now.
We're in it right now.
Right now.
It's not too late.
Mike Moloney took an awful lot of flack, Mike Moloney, over the past 10, 15 years, if you followed him. He's not been taken seriously, particularly by the Keynesian economists. Yeah. And he's I don't know the guy, obviously, but he's the type of guy, I followed him for years. He's come out now, he's on every single day, and he is having a ball because everything that he was warning through the hidden secrets of money has just happened. Okay, and this is the thing, and it's not for us to poke people in the eye or to make out that we're all right, Jack. You know, the reason we're taking time out of our Saturdays today is to highlight this to people, because it's no longer a case of conjecture, it's a case of necessity. So use the education, and then you know, you'll find lots of people who do this very, very well. Robert Kiyosaki is the same. He provides lots of education, but where many of them fall short is then taking that education into applied action. And that, for me, is where Carrot Bars comes.
100%.
I just posted from in the chat from 3 days ago, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Fake Money, The Cash Flow Quadrant, and multiple other books on what his interview was just recently 3 days ago from Kitco. And he's actually validating everything that we've been sharing, teaching, preaching, and educating consumers, individuals, business owners, and new people, seasoned people for the last 6 to 10 years. I just posted that in the chat. I highly encourage and recommend that everyone watches that video. And if somebody has doubt, share it with them.
Tremendous. So look, we're going to go from storm to sunshine here, you guys. So number one, unemployment and hours cut. We have an opportunity to help people start a business at home. Okay. Now let's look at that second storm. People's portfolios are bleeding, right? 30% so far, could go as high as 60%, folks. You know, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but if you know, the pundits have been predicting this will be the greatest crash in the history of the world. Okay. And people need hope. They need to find a way to recover those losses, right? So,
Greg, I think it is astounding to me how many people right now are looking at their 401ks. They've worked so hard with their retirement. They're right here on the brink of retiring, and what has happened just in this last week, seriously. And so with what we have, being able to help them, you know, I thought Greg last week talking about stopping the bleeding, preserving the rest of what they've got, and then being able to recover is amazing. Those two things. This is not a thing of you know, hype or anything like that. I mean, this is a serious, serious thing. People are looking for answers, and we've got it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's our answer? We have physical gold and digital gold. We have a crypto based on gold in an entire system, folks. That's huge. It is huge. Amazing. So when we talk about digital gold, you can look at some of the other videos, you know, where some of the good cryptos, they don't go up 5%, or, you know, like a good stock, 10%, or, you know, if you get a super, super good stock, 30%, they don't go up like that. They go up 100%, 500%, 1,000%, 5,000%, Okay. That's the era that we're in, and that's the possibility of our crypto system. And I know I'm in Karatbars. We're all in Karatbars, and I was hope and pray that we're not being talking heads. But when you look around the world for a company that has an entire ecosystem based in gold, I'm talking gold mine, I'm talking a bank, I'm talking our own blockchain, I'm talking our own exchange, our own wallet. It's all done, it's all completed, and all surrounded by some electronic products, the world's first blockchain phone and computer. You try to find something that's even close to that, good luck. It's all here. So that's not, when you see that word digital gold, it goes way beyond those two words, right? Comments on that? Right? So more sunshine. There's sunshine there. We have answers here for everybody. We can help that elderly woman who, you know, as Greg Sokorov said last week, you know, his mom just came to him, not in tears, but with great concern. And Greg said, Mom, I got your back. How about that? Mom, I got your back. How'd you like to help your friends and family in that capacity? And then pass that on. Folks, we really are in a wealth transfer system. Yeah. Okay. Pretty amazing. All right. So here's storm number 3. It's here, man. Try getting gold. Go after the call today. Go to your local gold shop. Find out where it is. Go and try to get some gold and silver. Good luck. It's happening. The U.S. Mint had to shut down for 2 weeks, Brian.
I love that. Well, you're sharing this because people are going to run out and try to do that. And then the greatest thing is we can do it right through our ecosystem. It's so easy to go save gold in small increments, whether it's 1/10 of a gram, 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, 1 gram, 2.5 or 5. Because our system allows us to do that, we can get gold in small increments, which instantly makes it mass adoption. So every single person on planet Earth, from India, from Vietnam, from New Zealand, Australia, Wales, Scotland, the US, the Philippines, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, and the US, and many, many other countries around the world can now start saving physical gold. If you're somebody that's on this call from any of those countries, you now have the ability to start preparing and securing your family's future, saving your wealth, preserving your wealth, saving your hard-earned labor by saving gold in small increments. Get back to the person that invited you.
And I like what Greg has coming up next. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but you guys, all the education we just have, we see the price rise. And this is your opportunity right there with this price rise to get it. So I'll let Greg continue here.
Well, that's right, Alfie, because you know the words here are lock it in now. Look, gold went up 30% in the last year, and people are saying, "Oh, I missed it." What's that song by BTO out of Canada? Backman Turner Overdrive. You remember that? You ain't seen nothing yet. Dun dun. Right? And you ain't seen nothing yet. So it is not too late. Remember, devaluing paper currency system. Alfie, hold up those notes again. Hold up all those notes. Every single one of those around the world, guaranteed, they will be dropping in power, in buying power. Every time you convert that, we don't sell gold. We help you convert your dwindling paper assets into a tangible asset, building wealth for your family. You know what the richest people in the world do? They have gold, right? So let's help everybody do the same. And Alfie, hold those up again. Talk about leadership, right? That's 1/10 of a gram. That's called transactional gold. Yeah. 1/10 of a gram. And I'm telling people, look, the gram is going to be the new ounce. Right? People are going to say, you have a gram of gold? Wow, that's awesome. Right? And the 1/10 of a gram is going to be the new gram. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? People aren't going to be able to afford ounces. Only the super rich will. Okay? So number 4, people losing trust in the system. Why are they losing trust in the system? People have figured out what the central banking system really is. It's a printing machine. When the government needs money, they just print. And by the way, in the Karatbars community, we're actually not coming up against governments or banks, you know, they're doing what they're doing. We're helping you get into an entire system where you can go sovereign. What do we mean by sovereign? Sovereign is you can operate your life in a gold-based system. What you need to buy, you can do it in the Karatbar Central system. So we are decentralized. Sean, you want to just pipe up on what the whole concept of decentralized means?
My favorite subject, Greg. My favorite subject. It's why I'm in the project, guys. What you maybe want to start to understand, if you don't already, is what it is to be as close as you possibly can to the creation of money, or more pertinently, the creation of currency as we have it. And this is what this step is all about. It's all about making sure that you maneuver yourself into a place physically, in the first instance, into owning gold, and enjoying the premise of what gold does as the global economy does what it does, but also making sure that you understand that through decentralization, which is now being legislated for in global governments around the world, that is very, very likely to end up on the blockchain, then you're able now to lock yourself in as close to the money supply as possible. So in real life, what money supply basically means is the Fed Reserve, for example, is the daddy of all monetary supply in the world at the moment. Yeah, and all central banks work off that because the dollar is the reserve currency and has been in full since 1971. And the further and further away you go from that place, so the government's coming first, then big business, then the commercial banks, and it moves out like decreasing circles from a pebble in a pond.
Yeah.
People at the very edges are the people with the poorest credit scores, for example. Okay, they get trickled to them, literally trickled, life, just about sustaining, and that isn't an accident. So what happens if you think you can, whatever level you are on those ripples, what happens if you think you can bring yourself to a closer place in that monetary supply? We've already hinted at it today, guys. The Fed Reserve over the past 12 months, the Chinese Reserve over the past 12 months, the Russian Reserve over the past 12 months, the British Reserves over the past 12 months have stacked more physical gold in their central bank vaults than the whole of the time from 1971.
That's right.
The clues it's hidden in plain sight. So what if you were able, through a trusted 10-year private mechanism that has been watching this going on since 2008, the reason Karatbars exists is because of 2008. And it's enabled ordinary people to bring themselves close to the supply of money, which manifests itself in actual physical gold, and then the ability to use that gold, which is your underwriting in your private bank. We have a term we use, become your own bank, whereby you're able then to use that leverage to live your life through decentralized technologies. I know it's a bit of a headbender, and I know it takes a bit of getting used to, but that is basically what we're dealing with. You'll hear the leaders over the next few weeks start to talk about opening up CaratPay onto the main net, CaratNet we call it. That is us basically saying very clearly that you're able to bring gold into a place of your control to then use in your life. Okay? We've not time on this call to go through the detail of that, but hopefully that resonates with you. That's basically what Greg's outlining here in step number 4. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I love how you say, you reminded us that you can step into a system established 10 years ago. I mean, the genesis of this occurred with Harold Seitz just after the 2008 crisis. And when you look at the world of digital or crypto, Brian, you know what's happened to most of the cryptos that have risen up in the world.
They have all went down.
Yeah. You put your money in, and a week later, or a month later, or 6 months later, you wake up in the morning and the website's gone.
Many of them went back to the intrinsic state, which is 0.
Huh. And was it Plus Token that just went down? $1 billion found its way to that token. Okay. So you can see that the world is looking for a better place to put their money. And we have real money, God's money. Gold is mine and the silver is mine, says the Lord of hosts, right? And
Amen, my brother.
it's real money. And we've got that real money in a digital system that's transportable around the world. You know, you don't have to, what do they do at the borders? You know, I traveled to Southeast Asia last summer, and every border, what does it say? If you have more than $10,000 on your person, report to customs. Well, Quenna, you know, you can walk across the border with your 100,000 in assets. Where is it? It's in your phone. It's in your K1 phone, right? Nobody's going to stop you.
That's right.
So everybody on a scale of 1 to 100, now be honest this morning. On a scale of 1 to 100, put it in the chat line. Out of 100, where 1 is, this is nonsense. This whole program today's nonsense. 100 is, I completely understand this, and I get the opportunity for myself and for my sphere of influence. Just give it enough. Be honest, okay? Don't try to impress them. Just be honest and just tell us the numbers, Quenna.
Oh, we've got 100,000, 800, 99, 75.
Okay, that's great.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
And then we're also, we're calling you up to lead. So as the 5 of us look into you all around the world, as we're talking to you, what's on our hearts? We want you to be where we are right now, and you can. Hey, remember when we started, you guys? It's like,
oh my gosh.
Nobody had anything on gold, any PowerPoints. There's just one, and we had Nitsa Nako started could listen to a recording on a phone call.
Yep.
And now we have videos and PowerPoints and a help system, that's global. And now we're all on different teams, everybody, right?
Yeah.
Sean Moloney in England this is community. We're all helping each other now. This is so important that we have mass adoption. We can't do it. We need you. You need to rise up in leadership. Take this thing. Say, I just want everybody right now, wherever you are, just say out loud, I am a leader in this carrot bar space. Come on, say it. We want to hear you.
I am a leader in this carrot bar space.
Come on. Yeah.
I'm definitely a leader in this carrot bar space.
Amen. Yeah. And we want everybody on this call to rise up to that level. And you can do it, right?
Yeah.
So terrible storm? No. Not if you see it, not if you take on that attitude that Alfie and Quenna were talking about initially. Focus on the solution. Sean said it too. He came on the line, said the same thing. Focus on the solution. You're in control. Okay? Think for yourself and get this done and bring people with you. Wow. And we're all together, everybody. We're all together in this. So
that was just amazing, Greg. The whole thing, the whole interaction with the panelists. Quenna, what do you think? I mean, this was just an eye-opener. I know we want to get to some questions I know that's what we want to do together. But before we do that, you guys, is there anything you want to add, Sean or Brian, to the whole presentation you just saw from Greg?
I just want to say, guys, if you're looking at this for the first time and you're invited by somebody, first of all, thank them. If you're still someone that's got a foot on one side of the fence, a foot on the other, realize something. We're not here to try to sell you anything. We're not getting rah-rah, shiskamba. We're just giving you education. We all personally or know somebody that experienced a catastrophic time in 2008 when we had a crisis before. And that was just the tip of the iceberg, just a small pigeon of what is happening on a global scale. The person you're hearing from right now, I got affected personally. I got stung. When I started with carrot bars, I was in the same shoes as a lot of folks, except I was living in a 10 by 10 tent, and I saw the value of just saving gold in small increments. And that was my whole reason to get into carrot bars, because I didn't own no gold. I couldn't afford gold by the ounce. but Nitanaka showed me I could get it in small increments. And I had an aha moment, because I knew at that moment, if I systematically gold cost dollar averaging, save little bits of nuggets at periods of time, weekly, biweekly, monthly, whatever you choose, which I've done since day one, grows into larger amounts. But the greatest component of that is, no matter whatever happens with the monetary system, I build a store of value and a legacy that my grandkids' grandkids, if it's not born yet, will still benefit. Create that legacy for you and your family.
And Quenna, that's a good one to write down, because you guys all say dollar cost averaging. You know how he switched that, right? He said gold cost averaging. So that's what we can do with Karatbars. Sean, is there anything you want to kind of tie into what, maybe just give a perspective from your side?
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, I'm honestly really enjoying this enforced period. We're finding people with time. What you tend to find with these online types of projects, and this is an online marketing model, guys. Okay, this is the way the company's decided to do it. My background is corporate and bricks and mortar, and this is relatively strange and has been a relatively strange journey for me personally. But now I understand that it isn't about getting out there and chasing the dollar and making money. What it's about is about sharing value. Okay. And in order to do that in the best possible way, you don't, and you shouldn't, judge yourselves, whether you're new to this or whether you're intermediate, whether you've been at this for a while. You shouldn't be looking at us as the arbiter of success. You should be enjoying this process and using people like us as a barometer as we navigate through. The question before that Greg asked about how many people on a scale of 0 to 100 see this, understand it. Honestly, I'm at about 75, okay? And I'm seen as a leader in this project. Now, the reason I'm there is because I understand there is so much more to come, and I'm enjoying learning that, okay? That's what it's about. Now, how do I learn? I plug in. Quenna is here every Saturday and has been for 2 or 3 years, yeah? Many of us are online every single day at the moment because we understand that people are able to take some time to learn. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't listen to some of the stuff we're going to talk about in a minute, for example, about coin price and where things are going to. Don't look at that with an overwhelmed mind. Look at that with a mind open to understanding how these things connect together. And we'll do our best to guide you through, okay? So enjoy it, make time your friend. But most of all, start, accrue, in other words, accumulate, and plug in. Everything else will fall into place.
Yes. And that, one thing that I want to make sure that everyone understands, to open an account with Karatbars, everything is done online. It's free to open an account, and you can begin, you can even refer other people with a free account and you can begin to save gold. Brian was talking about the gold being affordable, for the masses of people, and that is why it was designed. But I'll tell you, I've had people in my organization that have saved gold for years, and they've done it by the ounce, by the kilo, and all that. And I'll tell you why they love Karatbars. It wasn't because they needed it to be affordable for them. What they needed it for is so they could liquidate it in small increments. That's just as strong as acquiring it on the affordable side. Liquidating it in small increments, because y'all, where we are going to see the power of that is when the gram becomes the ounce. When the ounce becomes, a kilo or whatever, who knows what is going to happen with that. But when we liquidate it and being able to do it in the smaller increments, phenomenal. And anyone that says that they cannot afford to save gold, when you have 1/10 of a gram, and right now you can do it less than $10. So you can take the amount of what you would spend on a Starbucks drink and be able to save gold. Now, with us being able to do that online, right? Brian, what are you wanting?
I just wanted to say, if they say save 1/10 of a gram, that's a gram. They do that 31 times, that's an ounce. They do that 35 times, that's a kilo. When you do that gold system cost averaging over periods of time, you can save multiple kilos.
Yes.
And Quenna, on your train of thought, which just is unbelievable, because right now we're talking about taking the gold and physically going back into declining fiat currency. That's that's what people think, first of all, getting back in decline. But Sean, if you don't mind, you made an amazing point on gold on account. You remember, Quenna, he had said having gold on account
Yes.
and possibilities.
Yep.
And I think that's going on the train of thought that you had.
Yeah.
Sean, you mind sharing that? Because I think that's very powerful when you talk about gold on account.
It is, and so it should be. It is part of the financial education. Okay, and like I say, these are techniques that you learn, and unfortunately, they're not taught in the normal a system. Let's call it. Parents don't teach it to kids. Kids don't learn this at school. This is why we stress the need to read and educate yourself with books like the Cash Flow Quadrant. You'll learn what it is to hardwire yourself into situations where you have money working for you. And Brian summed it up right there, that it is a case of accrual over time. Okay, and that's a discipline. It is a discipline. Books like The Richest Man in Babylon. Humans have very, very short memories. And once you've been through a couple of generations, life tends to reset. We're going through that right now. Life tends to reset to a place that brings people back, okay? And while life and humanity gets more sophisticated, some basic principles never change. And The Richest Man in Babylon is all about paying yourself first, okay? The sophistication of some of the things that have been brought into our lives in our lifetime, like income tax, for example. Income tax was a complete anathema not very long ago, particularly in the United States. Now, there's talk of that going away again through Trump, but we'll see. But in the meantime, it doesn't matter. As long as you're paying yourself first, yeah, then you'll find that these things happen naturally. And we have mechanisms inside this ecosystem that allow you to do that. I'm a big fan of the autos exchange, for example. I like the idea of set and forget. I'm normal like anybody else. If I see something coming up in the month and the kid's got their eye on a brand new shiny bicycle, and I know I'm going to have to get that few £100 out, but I can't because it's in gold, and that's a good thing in my world. I'll save up for that bicycle, okay? You've got to put the discipline down. So one of the first things you'll learn to do in this project is the auto exchange. That has the effect of feeding the system in terms of you helping other people to do the same, which is a ratchet effect because, by the way, you get paid to do that. And then you use that income, that cash flow, to accrue higher levels of gold the way Brian explained, okay? So that's one way of putting it on account. But the way that Alfie is referring to there is actually much more powerful. It's something that we also advocate, which is putting something called cash gold on account, okay? Now, cash gold it's a relatively long-standing product inside the ecosystem, okay? But it's not fully understood, and it's not been fully understood. And I think what's coming through, and you're going to hear a lot more of this about this over the next few weeks, guys, for you more established people, that we cannot advocate strongly enough based on information that we now have, and you're going to hear from Harold actually on Monday, about what it is to permanently bring cash gold into your life daily. Daily. That's what we call putting gold on account. Now, Greg already alluded to it with regards to the very clever move, which is doing that in dollar cost average, which means you buy it at a certain point and you know that the asset accrues. And there was nobody on the panel and nobody in the chats I could see that disagreed that it's inevitable as the central banks start to accrue gold, supply restricts, but demand increases. Yeah, when that happens, it will always increase in terms of its fiat equivalent. Now, the arbiter is not to watching the fiat equivalent, okay? Even though that's because we're trained to do that, that's how we have perspective, okay? But try and, the technique I use is I always try and value my home in ounces of gold. I try and value anything we've got in ounces of gold. It allows me to get a perspective that eradicates inflation, okay? Because inflation gives you a very, very false sense of wealth. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason the West has been perceivably successful for the past 50 years since the standard was changed, because we've exported inflation and we've imported cheap goods. It's given us an inflated sense of wealth. Now, you just watch that come home to roost over the next couple of years. You want to be avoiding that, okay? We have a saying that you can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf, okay? And that's basically what you're doing in this project. So what we're doing is we're accruing cash gold on account. Yeah. And that basically means it's going to provide you a very important, well, three very important things: position, leverage, choice. And if you want to get yourself to a place of freedom financially, exit plan, some people call it retirement still, even though that's a slight anathema these days, then you need to go through those 3 steps first of all. So cash gold is going to come into its own, and it's a case of, and this is knowledge now because we've been sharing this, that we are working to bring the mechanism into the blockchain that allows you to do things with that cash gold. Okay. Now, we've purposely designed some Q&A because there are still people in this community, quite rightly, asking the question about how come KBC's not coming through to where we thought, how come we haven't got the 72521? These things are perfectly sensible questions, but they have to be addressed and understood as to how they come in time with regards to how this ecosystem works. Okay, so I think when we're going to have a go at doing that, subject to time, of course, but I think it is a sensible weekend to do it ahead of what we know is coming next week.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, everyone, I mean, we had a very exciting call yesterday to kind of, you know, have the picture painted for us as to what's coming. You definitely want to be on next week because there's a lot of things that are happening, you know, next week that are going to be unfolding. We've got big announcements coming from Mr. Seitz as well. But I want to, one of the questions that we had in the chat is when you're talking about cash gold, there's 2 things that I want to get clarified. One is when Greg was talking about locking in the price, we lock in what he meant by that, because I saw some questions in the chat. What he meant by that is you lock in the price right now, because what we're headed toward, you want to lock in as much of the price right now as you can. So when you go in and you open your account, you go and save gold, you're locking in today's price, and it sits on account or in storage, okay? And so there it is in your account, you store it for free, and you've gotten today's price. Whereas if you wait until next week, could be totally different. So you're locking in the price when you purchase it or exchange your fiat currency to gold today. The other thing that I want to, a big question that is so vitally important right now, we know we have classic cards, we have cash gold, and lots of questions. Should I save in classic cards, or should I save in gold, or should I do both? And what's the difference, and what's the power? Why is saving in cash gold right now so important? And so, Sean, or would you like to take that? Because you're talking about you're kind of going along that subject right now, and I would like for you to expound on that if you could.
Yeah, I mean, I don't make any bones about these 2 pillars in this business. You have to have an understanding of the way that Karatbars has evolved, okay? And you have to understand the power in life, and I touched on it, of things like convenience and discipline and organization, okay? So personally, and I can only talk personally, and I do teach this in my teams, and we are very successful at it because they do understand this, that we do work auto exchange very, very hard. We encourage people to do that from the get-go. And honestly, in all the products I've ever worked with, on or offline, in my years, 20 odd years in business, I have never found a product so in demand once people understand it. Mm-hmm. Once people understand the premise of some of the things that you've been listening to us talk about today, you cannot stop them buying gold as fast as possible. And it's accelerated now. Yeah. And that is a privilege, actually, because it means that you're doing something that is for the greater good. And it's all about doing what the rich do, not what they say. The rich won't tell you this, not of their interest to. Okay. So the classic gold is something that we absolutely advocate. And I'll be honest with you guys, the reason we do that is because it creates a flow in the system. Yeah, people say to me all the time, oh, classic gold's slightly more expensive than cash gold. Why would I want to buy a Grammar Classic when I can get all the more cash gold? Well, what you've got to understand is the convenience of it and the fact that you're contributing inside the mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
It pays out in something called a uni level. And that's one of the very first things that people deserve to have in their life as they start this program. They deserve to have that cash flow coming into their life. And if you think about it, it creates a community of basically free gold. That's the power of it. Okay, so don't look at the price point at the point. Look at the discipline and the convenience of the accrual on the dollar cost average, and think about what that's doing as you're helping other people do the same in their lives, particularly now, as cash is something that people are striving for. But you shouldn't just be chasing the dollar. Like I said earlier, the income, it should be holding real money on account so that that then goes to work for you at the same time as time passes. Okay, so Classic is a very, very interesting and misunderstood model. Okay, now, having said all that, cash gold as well. So I'm going to end this, guys, by saying ideally you need to do both. But we're not here to tell you how to run your business or your life. We're not advisors. We're here to shine lights on where these things fit in the wider ecosystem. And cash gold is something that really right now you should be doing. So a lot of our people, for example, they'll accumulate 1 gram a month on the Classic, and they'll just have the auto exchange, set and forget, and forego a couple of coffees every week or whatever, and have enough to be able to keep that moving forward. And they're very, I get letters all the time and emails all the time thanking me for helping them do that, because before they know it, they've got themselves ounces of gold, you know, over time. But cash gold is strategically is a slightly different animal now in terms of strategy. And what I would advocate is you accumulating as much as you can daily, even if it's just a few dollars, okay, tens of grams, daily. Now, the reason that's important is because, first of all, we have a mechanism in this process. There were people come into this program all the time looking to take advantage, okay? So you get people accruing the asset, say, through credit cards, and then they'll get the product delivered, and then they'll claw back. Go right to the credit card company and get the cash back. That's just basically downright theft. Yeah, these people have to be stopped because they pull the life out of the business. We've had the same effect going on with the coin. Okay, these people have got to go. So the way the company protects itself, it puts us in an 8-week security window. Okay, so that's not a problem if you understand dollar cost averaging accrual, because if you're accruing every day, then 8 weeks from that day onwards, you'll have that flow coming into your life. That's what we call financial choice. And when you understand what's coming through with regards to the Univol going on to the blockchain, and that becoming the equivalent to what we call a stable coin, then you can start to understand the power of what that really represents in terms of 8 weeks hence, giving yourself a chance to maneuver inside this ecosystem in a much more powerful way than even KBC can. But the beautiful thing is, in the end, because the third thing we advocate, just to make sure this is all rounded up, is KBC accrual. Guys, you really need to be accruing KBC every day, even if it's just a few of them, because that has the effect through the process to the fork of making sure that we keep the market where it needs to be. Okay, that's part of the process. It's not unusual in hard forks. The hard fork has to happen and finish, because that then locks everything together, and that's very much what Parrot Pay going on to the blockchain is all about. Come June, that's what we're anticipating. And then it's a case of making sure that all that comes together, but not you waiting for that and then you get started. You need to be doing it now to make sure that you hit the ground running when we get to the point where these mechanisms fire up. And KBC is the utility, it's the blood, don't forget. Yeah, it's not the basis, it's the blood. And therefore, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that once all these things connect, you'll get the KBC starting to move. You know, I'm the first one that can't wait for these things to get the subscriptions opened up. I'm the first one that can't wait to get more and more people understanding K-merchants, so we get this thing out there. I'm the first one that wants, you know, these different asset vehicles that are inside the ecosystem to start to fire up. And we talk about these in our strategy calls. They all are products inside the product. that create this velocity. And it's velocity that creates the momentum in price. So I'm already touching on the question about KBC. Forgive me, Quenna. But this is where it all comes from. And this is why I'm constantly saying to my teams, stop riding it, start driving it. Understand what it is for you to contribute in terms of open demand in marketplace and putting your money where your mouth is, and not waiting for things to magically happen, like, dare I say it, huge numbers of people doing Bitcoin, for example, because they just hodl hoping for the best because it's waiting for an application. We don't wait for an application in this project. We've already ordained the applications.
Yeah.
And we're just about to put the rubber on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying to you guys is, don't let every day go by, because as every day goes by where you're not positioning ready for leverage, that's the day you're never going to get back.
And the project's not going to wait for anyone, right, Sean? I mean,
No,
it's not going to wait. Quenna, I just want to tell you, this is incredible, okay? Because we've been sitting on here, what, an hour and a half.
I know.
And just look at the participants. We're not losing anybody. Everybody's really, maybe we should just pull the audience really quick to see how much longer do you want to go? Because I'm still fired up, because look at the pages of notes I'm taking from just Sean and
I know.
I'm your co-host, so this is your show. So what do you think?
I'm taking notes.
I know, that's awesome. Y'all, if it's okay with everybody, I want to make sure Brian Cromley, I want you to, talk a little bit about the multi-packs, why those are so powerful. But then, y'all, what I want to talk about and address, panelists, is I want to look at the KBC, what kind of things will make that go up, what effect will the countries, so be thinking about this, what effect will the countries switching to asset-backed currencies have on the price of gold, and how will that affect the demand of our KBC? We also want to be thinking about and delivering to everybody, just touching on the products that are coming. So everybody, this is what we're going to be kind of going into. We do need to touch on the multi-packs, everyone. That is definitely there's power with those, but they're also optional. And Brian, I want you to touch on that before we move into the KBC, the price and how that's going to be affected. And then also just touching on the future things that we've got coming, we're very, very excited about, that definitely is going to help, the KBC as well.
Before Brian goes, I just want the panelists to know, you heard what Brian said, right? He's taking notes, guys. This is huge for him to be taking notes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you again. This is amazing. I got a fresh new sheet for this one. So let's rock and roll, bro.
Well, first of all, I'm going to be real short and sweet, but Sean said it best. The multi-packs are for three reasons. Number one, to position yourself. Number two, it gives you leverage within the system on a multiple three-way match, which I'll get into. And you have the choice. You can decide to engage in that, or you can decide not to engage in that. Either way, it's got three things: position, leverage, and choice. The multi-packs allow you to get dual team payout matches. So if you're someone that's developing a team or just getting started, you're starting to build with your team, that can go anywhere from 2 generations up to 7 generations, depending on which status you have within the dual team: bronze, silver, gold, VIP, 2, 3, 5, or 7. That gives you a triple match, which is optional. Again, optional. No one's required to do this. No one's obligated to do this, but you can create dual team matches on dual team payouts down through 7 generations. So if you're an influencer, and there's many influencers on this call and listening in, or somebody that's an influencer, that can create massive amounts of dual team payouts and matches. And if you're someone that's an influencer, you imagine that on three people you recommend. Imagine that on 10 people you recommend. Imagine it on 50, 100. What if you're someone that is like a Brian McGinty that's referred 2,212 people? Imagine what 7 generations of triple matches could be just on dual team payouts. That does not include the cash gold dual team payouts, which is anywhere from 1/10 of a gram up to a gram, depending on which which multi-package they purchase. Again, that's bronze, silver, gold, VIP. Whatever one you start at, anybody that comes in that's below you on that level or below, you can earn dual team matches. So if you're someone that wants to not leave nothing on the table, go to dual team 7. If you're someone you want to go to dual team, go to 7, but you can't get started where you can fit in, take advantage of the Carrot Fast Track. refer 5 at your level and above, and get yourself a free upgrade. So that way you can keep capturing. And then the third is the exclusive points, which have cash value that you're going to be able to utilize into the ecosystem, whether you're acquiring a phone, acquiring a WIM laptop, a cash exchange machine. You can convert those back to KBC. You can convert those back to gold. And again, I'm going to say this once again, this is completely optional. You have the ability to have one match, which you already all get right now on dual team, or you can add the extra. But I will give you a little idea. Last month, when they rolled that out, just in the gold matches, Carrot Bars deposited 74 grams of gold into my account on the gold match. That's 2.5 ounces. That's a $3,700 gold payment in physical gold, ladies and gentlemen. There's people on here that got 2 grams, 5 grams, 10 grams, 50 grams. There's people like Tony DeGuvia, who got 131 grams. So as you're growing and building and teaching and training and educating and developing your teams, and they start engaging in our process and concept, that's going to grow weekly and monthly, and that's going to start compounding, because you share with 5 and they recommend 5, and 5 people turns into 2,500 if it duplicates 5 times. Then it starts to get into the tens of thousands and beyond. So in my overview that I want to say is, get in Reconfident, make the decision, and go for it, because everything you're doing now is position, as Sean said, leverage. That is pure leverage on gold assets, pure leverage on exclusive points, and you have the choice. It's happening whether any of us choose to engage in it or not. Harold Seitz's vision and mission and the ecosystem of Carrot Bars is not waiting for any of us. We just happen to have the opportunity to jump onto the train. Hold on, none of us are experts, except for Greg. Greg is an expert, obviously, because he's the people's economist. But we're just everyday people that saw a vision, saw Harold's vision and mission, and jumped on. And initially, we all just came in because we wanted to save some gold. But now it's way beyond what we ever could imagine. And it's only the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Quenna, that was okay on how you wanted me to share it.
Yeah. So
Quenna, just as a quick, sorry, Quenna, a quick pro tip, just to completely cap what Brian's just said. And it segues into what I was talking about earlier about the uni-level building and educating people about gold. If you're sat listening to this with not much of a theme, for example, and you're wondering what the relevance is of multi-packs right now, because you sat here in March, then think about up to the 15th of April, you've got an opportunity to position with what we call a grandfathered. So it means that you've got an open 6 months from packs 1 through 6. Pack 7 is an automatic 12 months. So what we do with our teams is we help them to understand the power of position. And then we work very hard with them over that 6 months to make sure that team builds on the premise of gold. Come October, they've then got that positive cash flow working, not just in fiat, but also in gold.
yes.
And that's what you leverage then to scale your business. Yeah. So don't sit on your laurels, guys.
Yeah.
Think about what it is over this next, what date are we on today? We got, is it 2 weeks we've got? Up to the 15th of April. We have an obligation, in fact, a duty as leaders to make sure that we explain this thoroughly. And I'm always open to serious people who want to talk about that strategy. That's why we run our strategy calls twice a week. We make sure that people can at least see that to make informed decisions. Because one of my biggest regrets, honestly, over the past 12 months with this project was not giving enough people insight into the power of cash gold leverage and what it is to accrue that over time so that you've got it on account, ready to move into these opportunities. I wish I'd done more of that, okay?
Me too.
And I take responsibility for that in my team. I will not make that mistake again. And it's a case of making sure that we have these open conversations and let people know and let people ask the questions, let people get things off the chest. But at the same time, the show goes on. This thing will not wait, especially in this climate. Thanks, Quenna.
You know, there was a couple points that I was reminded of as everybody was speaking too. You know, this system is appealing now to a much wider range of people. you can have people who have a lot of wealth and they want to get into this. You have people in business owners. They want to get into this. You have people who want to start their own businesses at home. They want to get into this. We have people who just want to be gold savers. I don't want to do any of that stuff. You know, there's such an expanse now of, you know, so you can approach anybody on this, especially in this time in history. That's huge.
You know, and I think it's so strong too. You know, we have a lot of people that they have done other home-based businesses and stuff. And what I think about our product and how strong it is that it being digital. And there's just, with our product, we see a lot of those people that are coming into this. We have a very strong model, a very strong product system, a very strong compensation plan, very strong support and mentoring and guidance, you know, on how to do that. And how, you know, we're seeing a lot of people right now that have had home-based businesses with other products that it, you know, auto ships, products that are coming in, you know, have to be shipped to you and all that. And man, our product is money. It's real money. And it's amazing.
Well, that's huge, Quenna, because, and I would never disparage any other company. There's lots of great health products companies and skincare companies, and, you know, good on you. But here's the thing. At the end of the month, at the end of the year, what do you have? Empty bottles? It's all gone. What are we doing?
We're stacking.
Our product is assets.
That's right.
You know, getting assets for ourselves and helping others get assets and benefiting from helping others get assets. Nothing like this in the world.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I agree 100%. I spent 10 years in a health and wellness company, utilized the products for 10 years, loved them, but absolutely have nothing to show for it. What I love about Carrot Bars is our product is money, period.
Absolutely.
Garage full of gold or a garage full of product? I mean, Greg, we know what you would take, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we would probably take the gold. And that's not to disparage on, like you said, there's many, many good products out there, but our product is real money. And I think I think we've hammered that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, looking at the multi-packs and what that does, as far as, you know, we are adjusting now, not only being paid in fiat currency, but also being paid in assets. And I think that is awesome, because we're kind of gradually moving into that realm, which is good for all of us. What I want to do is let's flip just real quick to the KBC. And what I asked a while ago, this is a question that I had that came to me. What effect will country switching to asset-backed currencies have on the price of gold, and how will that affect demand for our KBC coin? Who wants to take it?
Dr. Greg, you take that.
Come on, Sean. You're on.
I'm happy to, Greg. I know you're more than capable as well, but it's okay. I mean, I've been involved with this space, this blockchain space I'm being specific on, for knocking on 7 years now. It was a visceral reaction to being pulled over the coals back in 2008 to 2012, okay? I needed to stop being reliant on the banks. I have a phrase in my world of don't be 100% reliant on bosses, banks and governments. I don't mean it derogatory. Everybody should do their part in society. My wife's a nurse right now, and they're the people we need the most, yeah? Mm-hmm. So you've got to do things you've got to do, but just don't be 100% reliant on it, okay? So I went through this experience and I thought, okay, well, let's give it a whirl. You know, we got involved with blockchain technologies, obviously Bitcoin. And it was a complete epiphany, an utter epiphany. I mean, I remember when people were first talking to me about it, behave yourself. This, you know, it doesn't, what's that use? It's digital. And I didn't realize that only 18% of the monetary system as we know it is actually physical cash. The rest of it is just zeros on screens. So, you know, for the audacity these people have who are blockchain bashers, they come at you saying, no, well, it's digital, it doesn't actually exist. Well, go and have a look at the real world then, or what they think is the real world. But the journey you go on is then to understand, and this goes back to the gold piece, and we recommend, and we have recommended a number of people you should listen to from the gold piece: Mike Moloney, Lynette Zhang, Jim Rickards, Robert Kiyosaki. On the blockchain level, though, you should also work, guys, to to deep dive into what the blockchain actually really means. And one of the best people to listen to for that is Andrew Antonopoulos. Andreas Antonopoulos. I'm sorry, I'm not going to attempt to spell the name. If somebody can pop his, in fact, I might have the website here. He is a philanthropist with regards to what blockchain represents, which makes him someone you can trust to a large degree, because he's not there to monetize it like a lot of people are in the blockchain space. There are lots of sharks in the blockchain space. Okay, so go to that, learn off these people, and realize the baseline, the premise of what it is. Now, once as you do that, you'll start to get a perspective, like hopefully you are through calls like this about gold, about what the blockchain really represents. The blockchain has been around for a long, long time, longer than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a very clever manifestation of blockchain use, okay? And that has been vilified. You've had Silk Road, you've had people calling the dark web, you've had propaganda and establishment pressure coming down onto it for all these years. It's why you get this volatility. It's this purely speculative space still, okay? But the smart thing about what happens with projects such as Carrot Bars, when you combine them with a shift in macroeconomics, which is exactly what we're living through right now, and you're starting to see people like Facebook come forward with Libra, and then in only 6 months ago getting completely annihilated in the Senate, and then just this last week, Senate bringing a bill forward where they're going to bring and digitalize the dollar through blockchain. Go figure, yeah? These things are happening with or without us. So you either decide to take a part in that or you don't. Now, it's about being ahead. It's about position, yet again, position driven by knowledge and awareness, and making sure that you put yourself in that place, just as you should with gold. And then it makes projects like Carrot Bars become very, very bright and very obvious to see, because the heart of it is to open up to the everyday person. You don't have to be an insider. You don't have to be someone who's getting information in smoky boardrooms. You can be there through platforms such as this. So if you understand all that, then you start to be able to take a much more decisive posture in your life, first of all. Okay, teach yourself to fish first, and then you can help other people fish. No point throwing fish around everywhere. This is what the fiat system's finished. Too much fish has been thrown in. Yeah, literally. It's all about people learning to fish for themselves. That's what decentralization is. The governments are waking up to that. Okay. Now, to finish it off, Quenna, it doesn't need any more thinking, in my humble opinion, right now, other than to know that if central government and central banks and big business are starting to regulate and legislate, then that is a good thing. Okay. There's plenty of people out there, believe you me, I used to be one of them, who were the anarchist. We don't want anybody touching what we've got. We want decentralization. Be careful what you wish for, guys. Society has to continue, okay? So we need these structures. It's just a case of you positioning yourself ahead of structure. That's what wealth transfers are. So take what's going on in the wider world as it is, and know that the leaders, and I mean the owners and the big leaders of this company, Joseph Haidt, Harold Sykes, etc., these people work in those circles. They sit at those tables. They're in those smoky rooms. They're at the table bringing legislation. I'm very much looking forward to for example, the Swiss bank third party alliance we've now got, whereby we're going to get audited accounts on the gold that gives us that gateway. That is a bank. That's the established system seeing what we've got, and rather than reinventing the wheel, they're taking not only an established marketplace, but also all the established CarrotNet infrastructure that we've already got, and they want to put it into their world because they know it's coming anyway. So we need to be part of that. So it's nothing to be frightened of, and it will have a massively positive influence on the whole blockchain space.
Yeah, very good.
But pick your battles carefully, guys. Yeah? Don't go chasing money and don't speculate. Learn first and plug into communities of people who are doing it, not talking about it. Sorry, Alfie.
I think you hit the nail on the head many times throughout that, Sean. So thanks very much. That was amazing. Just the whole overall perspective. I also think the advantage that we have has to be specified, right? We have a major advantage being a huge community.
Yeah.
We really do have a major advantage. We are learning together. Look, like you guys said, we're all different teams. We're still learning, like you said, but the advantage is to get the knowledge that we have out there. I mean, using, the feeds that we have, the Twitter, we have. Can you imagine if everybody as a community got together and started tweeting hashtag KBC and hashtag Carrot Bars? And I challenge everybody on this call right now to do that. Get their Twitter account and, help yourself, help the company, help everybody come together as a community, because everything's going to revolve around the ecosystem. The ecosystem. They're just talking about getting a currency. We've got phones, CEMs, everything working already on an ecosystem that can sustain itself with the amazing community that we have in Carrot Bars. And we really do, guys, have a big Carrot Bars family, as Harold says it. And I think that's the most undervalued, unappreciated asset that we have is we already have it. We have a community that's got this, that could propel it just by simple little things, even buying a little KBC here, buying a little cash gold here, but most of all, getting hashtag KBC and hashtag Carrot Bars out to the community. I think that's huge.
Alfie, I want to add something too. And as Sean was speaking, I was reminded of it. It's extremely important if you want to build this business. So look, things have happened in the system. Some of it, various reasons. But most of us on the call here have spent considerable time with the big players in corporate, okay? Very high level of trust now. You can't just get trust. Trust has to be built. It comes through conversations. It comes through watching a company overcome issues. And so I think sometimes people get caught in, well, why did KBC drop so much? And the confidence can drain out of them as people question it. I'm telling you that we have a team in Germany and the tech offices. They are 100% for the outright success of this company and us. And our job is not to focus on questioning them. And they're trying to communicate well. They're trying to improve that aspect of what they do. But they are working it. I was on a call last week with Jürgen Palamon, JP, the head of global sales.
There you go.
And what a privilege. And so what are we talking about? The launch for China.
Yes.
And they're working with lawyers. Okay, so it's not here yet. Okay, but I'm telling you that corporate is always looking at the best way forward for this organization. And if you try to figure out all the aspects of it and why you're not going to progress.
Right.
You gotta just trust and listen to the leaders. I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you, and just go. This is a very, very good thing. This is a whole system based on gold. So trust plus community plus vision, just go, or you will be left behind.
That sums it up.
Yeah.
So, just the last thing that I want to say is in wave 3, we implement. So there was the creation of the ecosystem. Now it's all about we're in implementation. And as we implement, we're going to see the KBC increase. So it's all about the implementation. And so it's very important, everyone, that we are being involved in the implementation, whether it's our devices and doing subscriptions, it's the gold miner, it's definitely the things that are coming. We've got a couple of things that are coming that it's not just going to bring in little by little. We are talking about this is going to bring in droves of productivity and implementation to this project. And we've talked about debit cards, right? So the debit cards that are going to be coming, And then, and this is what we're ending on today, is we've been learning about on the huddle call. Every Monday night we have a huddle call, a team huddle call. And we've been hearing about the trading platform and all of that. So this is very, very, very exciting, information. And then also, we don't know exactly what this looks like, but Carrot Pay being on the blockchain, we know that's part of the goals and the timeline of what we've got in this project. So, we've heard of debit cards. In fact, Joby Gay was here a few weeks ago, and he was actually using a debit card that was tied to his crypto account. That was awesome, because if people accepted MasterCard, he was paying for dinner, he was paying for gas, he was paying for, different supplies and everything. Y'all, we've got that coming. And as we use this, that's an implementation of our system. So, Brian, do you want to talk about at all the debit card that's coming, or the trading platform, to, just to reinforce what I'm saying, and we can go around the thing, and this will be the last thing that we talk about.
I'll just briefly touch on the crypto debit card. We all have our prepaid PFS card, which is awesome because they load it up in euros. I am super, 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 super fired up about the crypto debit card, because all of you that have been accumulating KBC and KCB before it converted into KBC, when you log into CarrotBit, you see your cash value at the bottom of the screen. Well, imagine being able to utilize that with your crypto debit card, going to the store, going here, going there, and seeing that balance increase as the coin goes up, decreases, you utilize it. But that's going to be something that is going to be so powerful that you can use. And you'll be able, and every transaction that happens and creates throughout that happens on the debit card is going to create fees, which is going to create commissions, which is going to create more units in the system, which is going to increase your dual team payouts, dual team payout matches. It's going to increase your gold, because it's going to accumulate units in the dual team. That's going to allow people to earn more gold, you to earn more gold, but you're going to be able to use that on every aspect, just like we do with our euros. And you can take that crypto debit card, convert it right back to euros, convert it back to KBC, or use it for any different aspect. So we're going to have two cards. We're going to have our Euro Pay card, which is PFS, prepaid financial, and then we're going to have our crypto debit card. I am super, 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 super fired up about that. And that's it for me. What about you, Greg or Sean or Alfie?
Totally agree. I'll put a couple more supers on the end of that. No problem. It's I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's all about awareness of what's going on around us, guys. I mean, the person who invited me to this this project back in 2016, Shamila Khan, she's probably on the call. Say hello to her. Comes from Greece. Okay. Now, the reason that she's so, still to this day, and she's been doing this since 2014, is so passionate about what it is to take financial sovereignty, is because she and her husband, Rafe, literally lived through what it is to experience a limit on their own money or currency. Okay. Now, you make of that what you will, and whether that will come into play in terms of credit, restrictions or whatever's going to come in. We know bail-ins are already, in law. It's a totally different dynamic now since 2015. You've got to make your own minds up about that. But I'll tell you something, there's no way that I'm not going to be able to feed my kids or live my life because somebody's decided to restrict my money supply. Play that for nothing.
Yeah.
And people, while they seem quiet and the people are relatively submissive to authority, they really are. But you push people too far and you watch. Unfortunately, it can manifest itself in the streets and violence, unfortunately. But in projects like this, we hang a flag up in the air and say, guys, look, don't try and fight fire with fire. Be smart.
Yeah.
Bring yourself into a place where you're taking financial sovereignty and be able to build your own bank. Basically what we've been talking about for the past hour and a half. Yeah. And all you're finding with these mechanisms, and I know that Harold stepped this up quickly, much quicker than probably you wanted to, because of what's happened over this past 6-7 weeks. Yes. He's now given us an access point. Okay. And this manifests in things like the crypto debit card. But I'll drop a hint bomb in here about Carrot Pay going on the blockchain. Do not underestimate. It's not, but Brian's absolutely right. It's great to be able to see your KBC in fiat value and HODL. It's going to be great to watch that do what it does as utility starts to take shape. But it ain't going to be nothing compared to watching what your gold's doing in terms of how you can leave the principal and be able to live off the reward, particularly in things like the vaults. Now that is what passive income is all about. That is called living a passive income life. Very, very rare for ordinary people. But I speak from experience, it is one hell of a way to live a life. Okay, so take that as it's meant. Get yourself ahead. Think about what's going on. Don't waste your days. Position. Make sure you've got yourself into that daily method. And if you want to expand and go residual and turn your business three-dimensional, think very hard about multi-packs before the 15th of April.
Yes. So this very, very good, very, very strong, the information that we're learning. You want to plug in, because especially over the next few weeks, definitely next week is a huge week. But, you know, if just thinking about the trading platform and seeing what kind of passive is going to be coming there. Also, fee-based commissions is what we're moving into as well. And that trading platform, you know, so many people that weren't able to get one of either the master node, full node, super node, and it's like this trading platform is going to be totally huge with the project. But I'm thinking about for each individual, you know, with KBC owners being able to put that thing, put their coin into this platform and what that means for the residual or the passive, you know, that'll be coming into that. Huge. And so watching this thing, and Sean, you talking about, you know, when in a few months or whatever, and whatever that looks like with Carrot Pay being on the blockchain, how we are going to be closing the loop, you know, to the ecosystem. And so y'all, what that means is when we say close the loop, we're talking about acquiring all the way to being able to use it, utilize it, liquidate it if we need to, and the options that are created. You know, it's kind of hard to wrap our head around all of that. But, you know, I never, ever intended for this to go this long. But my goodness, I'm thinking, oh my word, Quenna, your notes. And just what wealth of information. I want everybody just to, we'll kind of bring this to a close, and, you know, everybody sign, you know, give a tidbit, just a final sign off to everybody. And this definitely was recorded. And, you know, you can fast forward to the places that you missed or you want to hone in on and get more information. I just am so thrilled that you guys have been with me today. So, Greg, do we want to start with you?
Yeah, final words. Big storm, perfect storm. Use this time wisely.
Awesome. Perfect. Cromley?
All I want to say is live, build, share with passion, know your purpose, and create prosperity for you and your family, and replicate that around the world. Beautiful.
Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd echo those two things, guys. Listen, this week, put your upline under pressure. Okay? Put them under the more pressure you've ever put them under before. You want to lift every rock. You want to know everything that's going on. You want to understand and re-understand and watch over and over what Harold's going to be saying on Monday, and have your upline help you interpret that, break that down, and strategize that. Use this next 2 weeks, guys. It just so happens, with luck or judgment, I don't know what it is, but it is a very interesting time with regards to this project and what's going on in the outer world. But really put us under pressure, because that's our job. We have an obligation to help you get ahead, because that's what a lot of people need. And if we can do that with you, you can do it with somebody else, and they can do it with somebody else, and they can do it with somebody else. This is the new social welfare. Teach people to fish, guys.
Beautiful. Awesome. Alfie?
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for you guys educating me on the panel. It was amazing. Thanks for the amazing questions from the audience. I want to close a little bit different, okay, if you guys don't mind. What I want to do is we've got over 300 people on this thing, Quenna. So I want to ask a question. I want everybody to eliminate whether they've been in Karatbars or not. Just eliminate that perspective from your vision right now. My question is to you, and you people, watch the chat in this question. You're going to see that the passion and conviction. And just like Gerrie said, be honest with yourself and your answer. If Karatbars was proposed to you today, and you know absolutely nothing about it, would it be something that you would be willing to start at and take a chat at right now? And let's see the chat, guys. Be honest with yourself. You people, take a look at this in the chat, and you will see that these people, we've gone through our roller coaster rides, but they're here with us. These one-hit wonders that come on YouTube and may have negativity, that's great. They do have freedom of speech. But you know what? Like Sean said, Greg said, and Brian and Quenna said, get back to your upline. We don't have any financial commitments to one another. We're in different teams. I'll help anybody from Sean's team. It's not a monetary thing. So get back to that person that got you on this call and eliminate that, because it all is the power of getting people out of the system of debt and into the power of gold. And you know what, guys, thanks very much for closing that and being honest with everybody. If you are confused and you need more answers, get in touch with the person that brought you here. Watch Quenna every Saturday, and we'll answer all your questions. And thanks Quenna very much. I'm so humbled to be on your call and co-hosting with you. It was absolutely spectacular.
Well, you guys are awesome. You definitely want to plug in. We've got webinars that are happening every single day. goldstandardwebinar.com is a great place for everybody to go and get more information. We have our staff meeting every Monday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern at this same channel, synergygoteam.com. That's a great place to attend every single Monday night. It's also recorded that you can grab the recordings. And then throughout the week, be watching on the Facebook pages, because we've got awesome webinars that are going to be happening. Alfie has his, Brian has his, Sean has his. Greg, do you have webinars that are happening? I can't, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah. Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific.
And that's awesome. And any of these guys, you can private message them on Facebook or whatever. We are here to help you all. We are so excited for, being together at this time in our life. My goodness, this is kind of like the rainy day has come that we can come and be a solution for people. And I'm so excited about that. Love y'all so much, and we will see you definitely next week. Next week's going to be amazing because of this coming week. So many things that are going to be happening. So y'all take care. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for spending your morning with us, and we look to see you soon, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you, everybody.
Love y'all. Thank you, Quenna. Awesome. Thanks to Sean, Greg, Alfie, all the panelists.
Fantastic,
Thanks,
everybody. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing day, everybody.
Guys.